Hey guys, welcome to yet another video. If you are new here, hi, my name is Sybil, and if you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for your support. After I posted my previous video, we've gained some new subscribers. So welcome guys, and thank you so much for joining our family. If you are here and you're not yet subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe and join our family. So today I just want us to go ahead and chat about some of the boundaries that people use in their relationships that give the relationship structure and direction. So the reason why boundaries are so important in our relationships is because most of us are frustrated in our relationships because our needs are not met and we do not know how to address that. So setting boundaries, especially at the beginning of a relationship, is very important so that you know how to address if some of your needs are not met, or if some things are not done the way you have agreed with your partner. I just picked up a few, just 5 of them, and I will discuss them, and then I'm gonna just give my take on how to put that boundary in place. All right, so the first boundary that we are going to discuss is conflict management. It's very important to set this boundary in place because, most of us or most couples, we are with people who are completely different from us. We, as they say, opposites attract. So it's very highly unlikely that you'll be with a person who has the same personality as you, who has the same interests as you. Most of the time you are two completely different people, but mostly the only thing maybe that you have in common is your values, your religion, your beliefs, things like that. But with personality, characteristics, interests, most of the time you find that we are different, and this then result in having conflicts. So if you have a lot of conflict in your relationship, you're always disagreeing, don't think there's something wrong with your relationship, or that your relationship is different or it's abnormal or anything like that. It happens to the most of us. We mostly have conflicts because of that reason, and obviously other reasons as well. So to deal with this, to set up a boundary at the beginning or even in the middle, depending on when you found out about this, to put a boundary for you to address the issue of conflict. So for an example, you can set a boundary to say, listen, if we do have a disagreement, or if we do or if there is a conflict that arises between us, let us make sure that we address it only when it's just the two of us. This is very helpful in an event that, something arises and maybe you have guests in the house, or maybe something arises when you're not even at home, you are somewhere in an event, or you are at a shop. If you both know that, listen, we only discuss things like this when it's just the two of us, obviously you wait for the right time, or you wait for you guys to get home, or you wait for your guests to leave, then you can just go ahead and discuss the issue. Sometimes you find that by the time you decide to discuss the issue, you are both calm, you are both in control of the situation, because sometimes when you are angry, things get out of hand and people say things that they don't mean. Imagine being a guest in a certain house or in a certain home and people start fighting in front of you. Imagine how uncomfortable that is. Sometimes they even want to put you in the middle of it. So they either want you to take sides or be the judge of the situation. I mean, that is just so uncomfortable. I hate those kinds of situations. So just put this boundary in place. Another thing is fighting in front of the kids. So if you have this boundary in place, you can also say, listen, whatever disagreement we have, whatever issue we have, let's make sure that we don't discuss it in front of the kids, especially if it's an argument or if it's something that we don't agree on. Let's wait for the kids to go to their rooms, or let's wait until we are together, and then we can just go ahead and address the issue. They know what you guys are fighting about. when they are alone, they're thinking about that. Sometimes they're even overthinking. It might even end up depressing the poor child. So just make sure that whatever issues you have, it stays between the two of you. And if you have, if you can't resolve it together, then you can decide, okay, let's just bring in a third person. You can go to a family member, you can go to a pastor, you can even go to a counselor to just go ahead and try to resolve the issue. So just make sure you don't embarrass your partner, in front of people. You don't embarrass your kids in front of their friends, because that's also damaging to their self-esteem. It won't be easy because it takes a lot of self-control. It's a sort of a muscle that you must exercise until you get used to it. But as long as you sit down, have a conversation, and agree on what measures you are going to take as a couple, what measures will work for you. You don't necessarily have to use the one that I'm presenting now. You can have your own measure that you say, okay, when we have a disagreement, let's do this and this and this, and then you make sure that you stick to that. Sometimes one of you or both of you, but mostly one, might not do things according to the measure that you've put in place. It's very important that one of you remains calm so that you can keep the situation in control, so that it does not get out of hand. Because at the end of the day, we are human beings. We lose control, we get mad, we say things, but if you try, one day you will be able to succeed. So the second boundary that most people have in their relationship, and that I think is really working, is social media. How to deal with social media, or how to handle social media. How should we behave, as a individually, or even as a couple on social media? I mean, you can't just go around and posting your partner or your boyfriend if they're not comfortable. Another thing is the issue of the exes. Like, what do we feel about our exes being friends with us on social media? One of you can be fine, one of you might not have a problem if you are friends with your ex, which is fine. It just depends on your personal preference and what you guys decide or agree on together. If you are comfortable, it's up to you, but you just have to discuss to say, listen, if you are talking to your ex, please let me know so that it does not catch me by surprise. So just sit down and have that discussion about social media, how to behave on social media, if you are comfortable or not comfortable with someone posting you or posting your pictures together, and why. If I'm not allowed to post you on my social media, you gotta tell me why, bro. Why? But at the end of the day, if your reasons are valid and it's really understandable, not that you want to keep the relationship under carpet, because others will be like, don't post me on your WhatsApp or your whatnot and whatnot, because you want to keep the relationship under wraps. So also be careful of that. But yeah, another thing is social media can take a lot of your time. If you are going to be chilling with your partner and you're busy on your social media, I'm busy on my social media, we also need to have a boundary to say, listen, if we are together, okay, let's spend 10 minutes tops or 20 minutes tops to go through our social media, and then we put the phones away. Other people even have a rule to say once they go to the bedroom, social media is off. They turn off the data, they turn off the Wi-Fi, social media is off. Whoever needs them is going to call them. Whatever works for you, just set something in place that is going to structure your relationship going forward. And also make sure that the boundaries are fair to both of you. Don't set a boundary that is going to be unfair to the next person. If maybe you know that you don't have any social media platforms, and then you want to set a rule to say, when we get to the house, no social media. It's going to only affect your partner. It's not going to affect you because you're not on social media. So just make sure that the boundaries that you set are fair for both of you, and they will benefit both of you, and they will benefit your relationship. So the third boundary that we're going to discuss is decision making. So with regards to decision making, it's also very advisable that you have something in place, a system of making decision, especially decisions that will affect your relationship, that will affect your family, that will affect you as a couple. But if your decisions don't only affect you, they affect other people, it's very good to make sure that they are discussed with your partner, discussed thoroughly, and then a decision is agreed upon. So if maybe you have to accept a job, you are married, you have to accept a job in a new town, in a new province, in a new city, or in a new country even, so that's something that you can't just go ahead and accept the offer and then you're like, oh, by the way, today I got a job in USA, so I'm moving next month. It's not something that you can just go about casually. So it's something that you must discuss, issues like buying a house, issues like family members moving in, issues of money, how you use your money, spending money on big items. Obviously, you don't have to discuss, things like, oh, I want to buy a slab of chocolate. Is it fine? Is it fine if I buy myself a pair of jeans? No, not that. Obviously, you have to have freedom. You still need to enjoy your life. A relationship or marriage should not be a jail sentence whereby you can't do anything without the other person knowing or without asking for permission. Yes, you can let them know. I can't just now take up and go to Durban without my husband knowing. So it's something that, yes, I must discuss, but also you must have a freedom to live your life and enjoy your life. So just make sure that you have a system to say, listen, if you're going to spend 5,000 and above, at least we need to have a discussion. If you're going to take something from our savings account, let's discuss it and let's agree. Sometimes you might not agree, but also sometimes you'll have to agree to disagree. It's going to be something like, you know what, I do not like the fact that you want to go and buy this, but you know what, if you feel strongly about it, it's fine, go and buy it, we'll see what happens. So you have to be fair to the next person, because tomorrow it might be you. Same for buying a house. You can see a house cheap, you want to invest, or you want to buy an apartment, but if you're going to buy big things like that, discuss, agree, and even if you don't agree, try to find a way to convince your partner that, you know what, I feel strongly about this, or I want to start a business, I want to invest this much in the business, and I feel so strongly about it. And then, if it gets to a point where you're like, you know what, I'm going to do it, even if you do not approve or you don't agree, because I think I have to do this, that's fine. It's better than going and doing something without the knowledge of your partner, because that breaks the trust in the relationship, and trust is very important. Also, decisions to assist family members, have something concrete to say, okay, how do we assist our family members? Because obviously you're not an island, you have families, you have friends, they might need your help. And it has to be fair. You can't come with a thing to say, you know what, we don't give money to any family members just because maybe your family is rich, they don't need anything from you, or they don't need anything from the two of you. And then you put that in place knowing that your partner's family is the one that's going to suffer. You do not know, tomorrow it might be you, tomorrow it might be your family. So be fair. Make sure that your partner or your partner's family is not suffering. Make sure that whatever you impose on your partner or on the family of your partner, when the day comes that you must feel that you must have that medicine, make sure that it's something that you can also have. You can't now come crying, and then now because you're crying, now the rules must be bent. So make sure that you are fair in your boundaries. So the fourth boundary is how to spend quality time, or how to spend time together as a couple or as a family. This is the most frustrating thing in a relationship, because you find that only one partner prioritizes this. And you find that they are so frustrated with this because the partner is always spending all of his free time with his friends. He has no time for the wife, he has no time for the girlfriend, he has no time for the family. and find that their girlfriend is so frustrated, their wife is so frustrated because she wants to spend time with her husband, but she doesn't know what to do. She doesn't know how to address this. So please sit down, put something in place. How do we spend quality time? How do we spend our free time? And also make sure that in that time allocation, make sure you also allocate time to spend alone, time to spend with friends, time to spend with family. If you feel like you need to, there are people who don't mind, they have the same friends, they go to the family gatherings together, they go everywhere together. There are those couples who do everything together, then that is fine. But if you feel like maybe you have your own friends, you want to do your own things with friends, it's fine. Allocate that, but also make sure you allocate time to spend with your family. So this might be something like maybe once a month we need to go out, maybe for a date night, or once a month we have to take the kids, go out as a family, spend a Sunday afternoon together, go somewhere, the park, the beach, wherever, together. Or twice a month we have to drive, go visit family, or whatever that works for you. But just make sure that in a month you allocate time, number one, to spend together as a couple away from the kids, just the two of you. If you feel like you are a wife, you are frustrated, your husband has no time for this, just go ahead and book something. Tell him. You don't ask. You just tell him, listen, can you please, or when are you free on a Saturday or on a Sunday afternoon or evening? When are you free? I want to book something for us. I want to book a dinner date, or I want to book an outing, or I want to book a weekend getaway. Okay, do not sit somewhere in a corner feeling sorry for yourself, hoping that your man will change or he will see things differently. If you don't, some things, if you don't spell them out or if you don't speak out, they are not going to change, and you are going to keep on being frustrated. So be proactive in this regard. Take the first step, plan something, whether it's for you and your hubby, both of you, or if it's for the whole family. Plan something and just let them know, listen, please have this Saturday or this Sunday free. I want to book for us to go somewhere, or I want us to drive and see our parents or your parents, or I want us to drive and see our cousin, visit our cousin for the weekend or for the day, or go for a braai or chillers. Plan something, and then just let your partner know that, or ask them to free up the schedule to make time for that. 9 out of 10 is that they'll be down for that, they won't mind. But if you come now fighting, like, you don't want to spend time with me, you don't want to do anything with me, you're always with your friends, that's not gonna work. Okay, that's another form of nagging and complaining. A person will just be defensive instead of trying to give you what you want. Don't wait around for people to do things that you want, things that you feel strongly about. Do them yourself, DIY, because at the end of the day, it's your happiness that's hanging in the balance. So the last boundary is friends. It's recommended that you make time for friends. Set something in place to say, listen, I don't mind you, spending time with your friends, having friends, or what have you. But before you make plans with your friends, please prioritize the family. Please prioritize the family. Make sure that you being with your friends does not interfere with the program of the family. Make sure that the family program is intact. Okay, so before I go and make plans with my friends, I must make sure that there were no plans for the family that I'm now, chopping off because I want to go and be with my friends. Sometimes, yes, it's an emergency, your friend really needs you. But if it's not an emergency, it's something that you just want to go and have fun, make sure that you plan ahead, and it does not interfere with your family, it does not interfere with your relationship, and make sure that the friends that you have are the friends that do support your relationship, they support you, and they understand that sometimes they have to wait for you to go and discuss these issues with your husband, and then you get back to them and say, you know what, I got the go ahead, there's nothing planned with the hubby, we can go, my friend, it's fine. So the trick here is not to interfere with each other's friendships. Don't choose each other's friends, and don't criticize each other's friends. If you don't like your hubby's friends or your wife's friends, you can just let them know that, you know what, I don't like that friend of yours, or like there's something a bit. You can just warn your partner about that friend, and then just let go. At the end of the day, he's a grown man, she's a grown woman, she can make her own decisions. If you did warn them and then something happens, you can go ahead and say I told you, or you can just be the bigger man and keep quiet, and then deep down inside you're like, told ya. But friendships are important, family relationships are important. Let's just make sure that we don't interfere with that. In fact, you are the one who's supposed to encourage your partner to spend time with his friends, to spend time with his family, to keep in touch with his family, because having a good relationship with your family, improves your self-worth, it improves your confidence, your self-esteem. So encourage your partner to have a good relationship with their friend, their family, even if you don't like the family, because sometimes you find that your in-laws don't like you, or you don't like your in-laws, but that does not mean that you must discourage your partner from being with their family. Just because they don't like you, it does not mean they don't like their child, or they don't like their own. It's don't let that interfere. I see a lot of people who are trying to convince their partner not to spend time with their family. That is not okay. That is just wrong. Those people raised you a husband. Those people raised you a wife. Even if you don't like them, it does not mean that your partner does not need to spend time with them. It does not mean they hate their own child. It has nothing to do with them. Maybe it has something to do with you. But if you have a good relationship with your in-laws, good for you. So just keep on pushing your partner, keep on encouraging your partner to have a good relationship. Remind your partner to call his family. Remind your partner to to do the obligations for his family. If your partner is a breadwinner at home, remind him to send the money if he has to send the money. So be the one, even if they don't acknowledge you, or even if they don't know that it's you who is encouraging him to do that, it's fine. But if the fact that he has a good relationship with his family, that will also affect your relationship in a positive manner. All right, so that was the last and final boundary that I wanted us to discuss. Thank you so much for watching until the end. Please, if you like the video, give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe if you're not yet subscribed. And yeah, thank you. See you again on the next video. Bye.